Hey guys, so this is a little bit of a timely video, and this is the perfume video of a different kind. Here I'm really going to go over the perfume collection of my husband's perfume. These are not mine, obviously they're all male-oriented perfumes. And these are what my husband wears. I thought I'd mention which ones I've purchased for him as gifts, which ones he wears the most, and which ones he picked out by himself. And I want to sort of also hint at which perfume. I'm obviously not going to review all of them. There are quite a lot. And I'm going to sort of hint at which perfumes would make the best gifts in my opinion. So, very first perfume that my husband and I purchased together was Encounter. He picked it out. This is Encounter by Calvin Klein. This is an oldie but a goodie. A bit of a cheap scent in my opinion, but my husband really liked wearing it. He's not wearing it as much because his perfume collection really expanded, but he likes to keep a hold of it. This is a woody, piney, bourbon sort of scent. So it's a sexy lumberjack. I think that's how he characterized this perfume, and I do agree. It does have a bit of an unnatural plasticky undertone that it dries down to. It's not a highest quality fragrance, but I like the idea of this fragrance. Next perfume we bought together as well, and my husband had worn it. And it's L'Homme Yves Saint Laurent. It was his most worn perfume before I had given him one of the other ones I'll talk about. This is very sophisticated, woody floral. I think this would make a fantastic gift for any guy. This is definitely a recommendation for me for a giftable perfume for a man, and it's a very sophisticated, very classic and classy woody floral. So I think fantastic gift, unless of course your man hates florals and wants Old Spice only, which is fine and great, and then in that case that's not for him. But I seriously recommend this one as a really great all-rounder. This will work for any season and pretty much for any occasion. And the next perfume is probably most worn at the moment by my husband, and this is something that I've purchased him as a gift about a year ago, and this is L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. This is a fantastic woody floral as well. You have to smell it to know it. It does have a little bit of a gourmand undertone to it. My husband does like gourmand perfumes, so this was right up his alley. Also a very easy perfume to wear, kind of an all occasion, all hitter. If you have one perfume only for a man, I think one of these two would be really easy to pull off. So this again is probably one of my top recommendations for a giftable fragrance for a dude. I think this is hard to dislike. This one is a people pleaser. Next couple are niche perfumes. The first one I have to talk about is Bond number 9. You know, the very classic Bond packaging. It's very festive. It's all very Bond and very expensive. And this is Manhattan. This is a very interesting scent. I've purchased as a gift for my husband, I think last Christmas. And this is a very gourmand and heavily patchouli based fragrance. There's some goodies in there, some bakery, but it's like New York City kind of bakery. You know, you're passing the bakery on your way somewhere in New York, and Manhattan smells like it's such a complicated fragrance. There is everything in here, everything in a kitchen sink. Very complex, very interesting. It's heavy, it's dense. This cannot be worn in the summer. I think this will be quite suffocating if you wear it in the summer. And it's a very beautiful fragrance. It's a very classic fragrance. And it's a very nice gourmand pick if you're a significant other, or if the man in your life that you want to give this to has a taste for complex niche gourmands. Then I think this is a hit. However, it can be perceived as a bit much by somebody who's more of a L'Homme Idéal classic, no fuss kind of guy. So this is great for those men in your life whose noses had been already accustomed to niche, complicated scents. This is lovely, but it can't be much. The same goes for the next two. They're both within the same, it's from the same brand. Beautiful packaging, very beautiful classic and obviously niche fragrances. Ludano Nero by Tiziana Terenzi, and we have Ecstasy by Tiziana Terenzi. These come kind of, they're cousins in my opinion, and I bought them both, and I'm not sure why, because one would have sufficed. And they're beautiful, and they're also very, very complex. They're gourmands with some alcohols and liqueurs, and some Ecstasy has a heavy, heavy patchouli base and some woods. Ludano Nero is more of a bourbon / liqueur, sophisticated gentleman club sort of perfume. It's gorgeous. I think out of the two, Ludano Nero is a more interesting pick. And these are just beautiful inside and out, very complex, very long lasting, very dense, super high sillage. Like it's a killer. You need just a very little bit. So again, for a niche fragrance lover in your life, I think Tiziana Terenzi is good to check out. But I think if I had to pick anything from their line, and I tried a few things, I would go with Ludano Nero. I think you can't go wrong if that's the kind of fragrances your guy is after. Next one is my husband's pick. We bought it on a whim at some point, and this is again a cheapie. Not my favorite personally, but he really does like it. And this is from Versace, baby blue jeans. They used to produce these. I'm not even sure if they still make them. This is a powdery citrus, very easy to wear. And this is more like a teenager cologne sort of scent, but my husband really enjoys it. As you can see, I'm not a huge fan. Next is a fragrance I've purchased for my husband as well. This is a bad boy scent. He doesn't wear it a whole lot. I have a feeling that next to clutter, this one will not survive. And this is Bulgari Black. So this, in my opinion, is a bit of a unisex scent, but for a guy, it's for men. And this one is really interesting because it has a bit of a burnt tires undertone to it. And the bottle kind of hints at that. And this is a truly like motorcycle, leather jacket, bad boy vibe for sure. It has some vanillic undertones to bring in a bit of mystery, but really this is a cool dude perfume and kind of classic at this point. This is from the 90s. I do recommend you check it out, but I don't know whether it's for everybody. I think not. Next, we have a fragrance that I originally bought for myself, and this is actually a male fragrance. So my husband actually loved it so much that he stole it from me and now wears it for himself. So that tells you a lot. And it's true that it smells on him a million times better than it does on me. So I do think there's something to be said for, like, this was designed probably for rather for males probably. I fell in love with the scent. I purchased it, and then this is Spiceball by Viktor and Rolf. You probably know Flower Bomb by Viktor and Rolf for women. So this is their counterpart for men, and you can see again the little grenade packaging is kind of precious if you're into that kind of thing. This is a cinnamon bomb with lots and lots of gourmand undertones. This is very tasty. This is sexy tasty on a man's skin, and I think also would make actually a fantastic gift if your guy has a sense of humor and doesn't mind a bit of a gourmand. So this is definitely one I recommend you check out because this is very easy to wear. It's rather a fall and winter scent, so not as universal as the L'Homme by YSL or the L'Homme Ideal by Guerlain. But this is a fun one. This is lighthearted, it's relaxed, it's chill, it's casual. I like it a lot. I mean, I bought it for myself. I didn't wear it in the end because it was stolen from me. Next we have Dior Alma. This is also not everybody's cup of tea. I do recommend it if your guy is after a slightly floral, irisy, dry, super elegant scent. This is very, very elegant. This is Dior L'Homme for men. So this is not the original L'Homme or Homme, Dior Homme. It's an eau de toilette. It holds on to the skin very, very well. I think it's a very sophisticated scent. My husband used it for a little bit and then kind of stopped wearing it. So I think that was a miss on my part. But I do think that it's worth checking out for those those dudes who really, really like very sophisticated, very vintage inspired scents. I think that would be a good pick. But for my guy, it was a bit of a miss. Next, we have another miss. I have purchased this for him on a whim, just completely randomly. I was in Toronto one day for a conference, and I just picked this up for no reason. This is Lolita Olympica en masculin. This is a floral, sort of gourmand, and kind of a blah scent. I'm not sure why I bought this for him. I think he should declutter it. He's being nice and holding on to it, but I think it just needs to find another home for somebody outside of our household who's actually going to be using it. So the last one that I'm going to mention is another Versace scent. This is Versace Dreamer for Men. This is also like a floral block concoction that I think my husband should declutter, and he is not wearing this one at all. I don't believe he's worn it in a couple of years. So another one for a candidate for decluttering. So in terms of the scents that I do recommend, and that I think would make really, really great gifts in general, like for the general population, I think Yves Saint Laurent L'Homme, fantastic gift. I think very universally likable scent. L'Homme Idéal by Guerlain, also fantastic, universally likable scent. And for a lover of either gourmands or also for casual wear, I think Spiceball by Viktor and Rolf. And those tend to be the most worn fragrances that my husband enjoys the most as well, actually. And I agree, those are probably the most universal, very wearable, likable, approachable scents. If you are into something a bit more vintage and sort of elegant and a little bit snooty, Dior Alma is your pick. And if you're into very niche, very dense kind of fragrances, something very, very complicated, something very, very hard to, something that you're not going to smell in everybody, I would recommend actually the Mon No. 9 Manhattan and Tiziana Terenzi Ludano Nero. I think those two are really good picks for the complicated men in your life who like expensive things. So these are the fragrances that my husband has going right now. He did do some decluttering previously, so some of the scents that he had are gone. I think he needs to do more decluttering because there's some scents here that need to go, and he's not using them anyway, so what's the point of holding on to them? But that's up to him because it's his stuff, not mine. I declutter mine often. That's it for today. I hope it was fun for you to watch, and maybe you took something from my recommendations. I think some of them are quite solid recommendations and very, very likable and easy crowd pleasers. Something that your eye will probably enjoy. That's it for today. See you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.